If you get too worked up about things, if everything is so dramatic, if you're emotional, if you're reacting against everything, it drains you of energy. You're not a good strategist. You're not a good warrior in life. You're not a good power player because your brain is just sinking into this mud of reactions and emotions. I wrote that chapter because people in power use that and know about it, but also for you, the person starting out or was younger, to understand that that's what's going to be happening to you. People are going to be taking your work and taking credit for it, but just accept that. If you're always the same, if you're always doing the same, if you're always appearing the same, they're going to get bored with you and they're going to look for something else. So you have to be mysterious. You have to withdraw. Napoleon Bonaparte said, if I show up at the theater every evening as a spectator, the audience sees me, they start taking me for granted. Everybody has insecurities and has an ego. And the worst thing you can do for your boss, for your colleagues, for the people underneath you, is to violate their ego, to make them feel insecure. You will pay a price for it. This is the most important law in power that I want you to engrave in your brain right now as you listen to me. And it's the following. Everybody has insecurities and has an ego. And the worst thing you can do for your boss, for your colleagues, for the people underneath you, is to violate their ego, to make them feel insecure. You will pay a price for it. They will resent you. They will work against you. They will betray you in the end. So never lose sight that everybody around you has an ego and has insecurities. When you're in a position of weakness, you're starting out and you're approaching powerful people, okay? What is the self-interest that kind of ties most powerful people together? They don't have enough time. They are too busy. We all know that. You know that. I know what that's like. Too many things going on, too many people asking for favors, too many projects, too many things going on. Never have enough time. If you, in your proposal, and you're asking for them to do something for you, if what you're offering is to save them time, to make it so it's not so exhausting, you can organize something for them, that'll have a lot of power, that'll have a lot of impact, because that's in everybody's self-interest today. If you get too worked up about things, if everything is so dramatic, if you're emotional, if you're reacting against everything, it drains you of energy, it clouds your mind. You're not a good strategist, you're not a good warrior in life, you're not a good power player, because your brain is just sinking into this mud of reactions and emotions. So I should have just been more zen about it. This is how the game is. Eventually, if I keep writing this good dialogue and stuff, he's going to let me take credit, or I will get credit for it eventually. If I'm humble, if I'm serious, if I learn the game, if I play it right. If you play the game of power right, you read the book, you understand it, you will be rewarded at the end of the game, right? You will be rewarded. So I wrote that chapter because people in power use that and know about it, but also for you, the person starting out or was younger, to understand that that's what's going to be happening to you. People are going to be taking your work and taking credit for it, but just accept that. Machiavelli said, if I could create the monster, the Frankenstein of a leader in business or politics, whatever, it would be somebody who could change with the times, who they rose to power based on a strength. They see that it's not quite the right quality, and they adapt and they move with the times. He compared it to a river, right? And you're kind of moving like the water, you're flowing with this river, and that's power. But being rigid and having a form and having a strategy that you always rely on and having a personality that you always exude to the world and perform as is weak because you can't adapt. The game of absence and presence. Sometimes you have to be absent and sometimes you have to be present. Napoleon Bonaparte said, if I show up at the theater every evening as a spectator, the audience sees me, They start taking me for granted. But if I show up a month later, they go, oh, there's Napoleon, wow. Then I show up the next week, oh, he's coming off. And then I show up in 6 months. They don't know when I'm going to show up next. So they're always having to think about him. So that's sort of the game a little bit, knowing how to, this dynamic between absence and presence. People are very bored right now. They're like children who've been continually stimulated with all kinds of new and exciting new toys, right? And you're vying for their attention, okay? If you're always the same, if you're always doing the same, if you're always appearing the same, they're gonna get bored with you, and they're gonna look for something else. So you have to be mysterious, you have to withdraw. If you withdraw and you're not always vying for their attention, you disappear for a month, you don't post anything, or you post something that's maybe a little bit enigmatic where they're not quite sure what you mean. Suddenly they're gonna pay attention to you. Don't think of power as these are these set laws that I have to follow. It's gotta be this way, it's gotta be A or B or C. Open your mind up. Don't be so rigid about it. So sometimes you have to be consistent, right? That's your brand. If you're suddenly changing your brand every 6 months, people don't know who you are, don't know what it's about. You're going to lose your customers, your clients, right? But if you're too stuck, if you're too always the same, people are going to be bored with you. So the game has a lot to do with attention. People have written about this, but attention is money. Attention is something that you can monetize, right? Being able to get the attention in a world where you're competing with billions of other people out there, right? Okay? And so in order to gain people's attention, people get very bored, right? They get very bored very quickly if you're always the same, if you always have one note.